Hey guys, welcome back. It's 2025. And I kind of started some stuff to organize this desk in 2024. Got hit with a ton of freelance work and 3D projects, and I have neglected it ever since. And if you're anything like me, I feel like your office and creative space is super important because, for me, cluttered space, cluttered mind. And I always feel like I'm more creative when my stuff is clean and organized. So I really need to clean this up and figure out how to organize all these cables before going into the projects that are coming in on 2025. On top of that, I also try to go with a more minimalist setup this year. I had a 3-monitor setup. I went to this single 40-inch Dell monitor, and I have a cable that I can connect to that to work as a USB hub. But the problem is the cable I could find, I don't know if it's long enough, and my computer is actually underneath me in a storage room in the basement here. So we need to figure out how to organize these cables, how to clean all this up. No one wants to see this crap. Let's try to clean all this up and make it look a lot better so we're not thinking about it. Here we go. All right, so as you can see, we have a mess of cables. So the plan here is we need to figure out a way to organize these cables, and I have some stuff already set up going into the wall. I have a little bit of an organizational strip going up, but I need to make a big umbilical cord, wrap all this stuff, organize it, make it tight, and somehow I need to figure out how to get that cable down the wall as well into the basement. And one of the other things we're dealing with here is not just the cables. I forgot to mention that my modem and cable, the outlet is sort of in the middle of the wall, and there's not a good way to run the cables out to try and hide this. So I need to figure out a way to hide the modem and the router to make it look a little bit more cleaner. I do have a little bench here that I like to rest my feet on, so maybe there's a way we can use that to hide both the modem and the router so you can't see it as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on some music, we're gonna get to work, and you might notice that I'm wearing some headphones for this whole thing, and that's because Tozo provided their latest headphones so I could test them out, and they've been great. I'm gonna use them to answer phone calls and listen to music while we try to fix this office setup. Now that I got the desk up here a little bit, let me kind of show you some of those things I was talking about. So we have our router and modem in there, but the issue is our main outlet is kind of just in the middle of the wall here. So we have power outlet, modem outlet, and then this is a box that I started to insert into the wall that goes down to the basement that hopefully we can run all the cables down through here, get them kind of hidden clean to the PC downstairs, and hopefully also install that new Dell cable. So we got some of this set up, and this is our rat's nest underneath. So hopefully with some zip ties or maybe some good cable organizers, I can kind of get this to get an umbilical up the wall here, and then also use this vertical cable organizer that I started, kind of get everything in there, and we'll see if we can tidy it all up. We're getting in a little bit of a cramped space here, but hopefully it all works out and we learn something in the process. All right, well, I'm gonna try and use this IKEA net on this IKEA standing desk as much as I can to kind of try and hide some of this first, and then we'll go through and start to clean it up. I do have a few more Velcro-y zip tie guys. Can't leave home without these, huh? We have this new DisplayPort cable for the new Dell monitor. I had to get a faster one, so this is not part of this group currently. So let's try to start organizing that, get that guy in there. That is a USB cable, I can go back there. That's charging my devices, so we don't need to worry about that one right now. So this cable I'm hoping to eliminate because the Dell monitor is now a USB hub, and this is actually going to my USB hub that I have on the side of my desk over here. I tried to strap everything sort of underneath, so I have my outlet here, rat's nest, and that wire is running all the way over to my USB hub that currently has hard drive and any other peripherals that I might use for that. So hopefully that's one cable we can eliminate, but we won't know until we get there. All right, so one of the big issues here is right underneath this wall, like I mentioned earlier, is the basement where I'm holding onto my PC, and all these cables are already down in there. I got this box set up, but we kind of already ran into our first problem. The little flaps that screw this drywall in had fallen down in behind there. So I'm debating, I need to go get another one of these to get the little flaps, because who wants to rummage their hands around in a bunch of insulation and whatnot. So I need to do that really quick. And then I also think I have a solution for this mess of modem and router stuff right here. This eventually I'll try to put back up on here. And we got kind of an extra cable here. This was an old audio cable, don't really need it anymore. So, and we also gotta remember that eventually this desk will lower. So that will help with some of the visual here. So here's my USB-C 3.2 cable to turn the Dell monitor into a USB hub. I need to figure out not only how to get this down the wall, but I'm hoping it is long enough to even reach the computer that's down there. Before I mess with all the outlet stuff, get the drill out, let's try to get this cable down and see if it even reaches first. So definitely not the best idea, but I'm struggling to get this down enough down the wall to be able to grab it from down the basement. So not the best idea, making solutions. I have this old audio cable that is still connected. Well, not even connected, but it's run down through the wall. I think I'm gonna have to connect these and try and string it down the wall to get this USB-C cable to reach down into the basement. So it's not ideal, but we'll see if we'll be able to fish it down through there and get in there. Do I recommend this? Probably not. I never claimed to be a very handy man. With this janky setup, we will gently tug it through the wall and hopefully we can pick it up on the other side. This is the audio cable that is already down the wall. This whole thing's a mess right now. I'm also just realizing that this new DisplayPort cable to the new Dell monitor needs to go through this as well. So man, there's still kind of a lot to deal with here. Let's pull this part out first. This is what has our new USB-C cable attached. And then if I had to do this over again, I don't think I would use this kind of outlet box in here. I think I would just do a whole open thing, because if you look, there's these little tiny spaces in here. Or maybe if you wanted to cut these out, it'd be way easier if you're doing something similar. Because what I have to do now is try and get our USB-C here with the L bracket through this little opening with this other cable already in here. Maybe in hindsight, I should have wrapped it once we get it through, but here we are. And why the L bracket, you ask? Well, it was the longest, fastest cable on Amazon that actually got the correct USB 3.2 speeds. All right, so I'm gonna do what I just said. I'm gonna undo this so I can connect it already through here. All right, so there is that. Now let's run the USB-C through there. All right, there we go. So we got it through. That is a super tight fit. And honestly, like, doesn't pull well through this with all these other cables next to it. So I'm just going to keep pulling this all the way through. And we're going to hope that this is long enough. All right, so now I'm gonna reconnect these and hopefully fish it through the wall without damaging any cables. So we got a little bit of slack on this cable. I'm gonna try and get it started on the wall a little bit here. I'm gonna have to go downstairs and we'll see if it pulls through. All right, well, it's going down, but it's definitely caught up on something. It's getting hung up. I just can't tell without some assistance what it's getting hung up on. I might need to call for reinforcements, AKA the wife. All right, we are in the room where the computer is, and I started tugging on it, thought it had a little bit of extra give to it. The bad news is we lost the DisplayPort, or the USB-C 3.2 cable from the monitor. So it is now somewhere in the wall, and we got to figure out a way to string it back down. This was hard enough to get up as it was, and it's really hard to see, but we have our other cables that start here, and the back of the wall where our stuff is right back in there. Really hard to see. But this cable right here is actually our Ethernet and DisplayPort. Little setback in the plan, so at least you know kind of now what we're working with here. This little dungeon, this awesome fluorescent lighting, which is so complimentary to my shaved head. But yeah, so we might need a little assistance on this and figure out how to fish this cable out of the wall and back down into the little computer room down here. Before we call it quits, I wanted to do one more thing. So what I did is I took this little footstool that I normally rest my legs on, and if you open it up, there's actually storage in here. I can kind of just rest some things in here. Maybe not the modem, because I think that'll tend to get hot. Just sort of set things in here, put this up against the wall, and I think that'll hide some of that cabling. So let's throw some stuff in there and just, get an idea, see how it looks, even though it's kind of not the final phase. And we'll need to clean some of this up, but let's at least set that up and take a look. All right, so it might be a little hard to visualize right now, and this would be, kind of like this eventually. Not a bad solution. It is day 2. I was trying to get the cable going down the wall and I lost it inside the wall. So late last night off camera, had to get the wife to shimmy her way up the storage units there and actually put her hand up and pull the cable down. Right now I have the USB-C cable connected to the computer. The USB-C hub is working. The cable is so tight though that if anything moves, it's gonna snap right out of the computer. So I do need to get another cable and connect those two. In the meantime, it's back to organizing some of this stuff. What I got here is a new box because I was also trying to unplug the box. I unscrewed this a little bit too far and the tabs kind of got lost into the back of the drywall with all the insulation. So we're gonna take these tabs out, we're gonna try to get the box in, clean up all the cables, hiding everything else going up the wall there. And otherwise, hopefully we can finish this today. Let's get back to it. So one of the things I mentioned before is in between projects, I switched monitors. So this is a faster display port cable that is running down. And in my haste, I did not put it through correct channels here for our box that's going on the wall. This feels very tight too in here. See, whatever these two cables are, I think that's part of the part of the USB that I need to extend. Just got our little flappy guys out of this drywall box. Let's add it to the current one. All right, moment of truth to see if these actually catch the inside of the wall here. All right, that one feels pretty good. So it's definitely caught, but these cables are definitely doing a little bit more tension than I would like. I think for now, this will work. See if we can magically line all these up. This one's a lot shorter for some reason. I think I might have to get a longer one. Or I'm just completely missing. Well, I wouldn't call it the cleanest execution right now. A little bit of cleanup we should probably do around the paint and stuff. We can all do that later, and obviously this will cover up a little bit. Not the best idea, but at least we're kind of making some progress. The next thing we need to do now, re-umbilical some of this stuff that goes up to the monitor. Let's slap on this little cable cover, and hopefully it all kind of comes together and we wrap up. Definitely a little finicky. I also don't think we have enough slack on the USB-C cable. It's getting way too tight. So until I get that connector, I think I'm gonna disconnect it for now, unfortunately. All right, cool, so not so bad. Got a little bit of cleanup at the top there, but you know, this little bracket holder that's on the wall, there's some pretty thick cables in there and it's holding it pretty well. So I'm really surprised by that. The thing we have left is we still have all these cables that's kind of coming out of this. And this is part of the stuff I was talking about where it needs to go. It needs to go from the cable outlet kind of down bottom and into where we have the router. So I have a feeling once I kind of get that all cleaned up and moved into the router box area, it should be okay, but you know, we still gotta clean this at the top, but we're definitely getting there. Yeah, you're good. You can lay down. It's okay. She wants to claim her spot back. Go ahead. Oh, and this popped back out. Got caught on the vacuum a little bit. So one of the problems is this cable connected to the wall, like I said. It might just have to sit pretty close to here, but we can still clean up some of this stuff. And here it is, the final result, a clean and organized office ready for 2025. Right now, everything's in its place. It's nice and hidden. I was even able to figure out how to get the router and modem in there. And once everything's kind of pushed back up against the wall and I just kick my feet up and relax and editing and work, it kind of all works. There's a couple of extra things we could probably tweak to clean up a little bit more, but I think to kind of get things going, this is working pretty well. The Dell monitor is now connected with USB-C. I think I still need to get another USB-C cable to connect to that because it's really tight on the back. And I'm afraid that if I move the monitor or the desk comes up a little bit too much, it's gonna yank that USB-C cable out. So that's another future upgrade I'd like to make as well. So overall, you know, I think it definitely helps with clearing out the space, clearing out the mind, getting everything ready. As far as the furnishing and stuff, I think there's a lot of bare areas on the wall that need a lot of design and maybe some just little knickknacks and some furnishing. It really feels bare now that we went from the single monitor setup, coming away from the triple monitor setup, because that triple monitor setup just took up everything and now it just feels sort of open and barren back there. But we got some plans coming up for that in the future, and maybe some big office renovations as well. So again, thanks for joining me on this little office makeover cleanup session, hiding the wires. Hopefully it helps inspire some of you guys if you're having some issues like I was having as well, and how we can sort of hide some of that stuff. It doesn't always have to be perfect, but I feel better. Shout out again to Tozo for sending me their headphones. And if you're looking for some wireless headphones, I would definitely check these out. In fact, we bought another pair for my wife in pink. If you want to know more about these, I'll leave a link in the description below. And even though there's a little bit different style video, if you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, and let me know in the comments some ideas that you saw for something like this, how to clean these wires up, or more video content like this you would like to see coming up this year. Just let me know. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.